Hello friends, welcome back. In today's session we are going to look at events. Now just look at the word event. What is an event? A wedding is an event. A music concert is an event. The TechEd conference that happens at Microsoft is an event. So how do these events actually happen? First, the idea is perceived. The event is organized and then there's a committee which publicizes about the event. The details about the event will have to be published. It will be published to the general media. It will also be notified to subscribers who subscribe to it. Let's take a specific instance. Let us take the Microsoft TechEd conference. Microsoft has a very good group to maintain customer relations. And say for example, you have subscribed to the Microsoft newsletters. Now when Microsoft decides when and where they want to host the TechEd conference, they will send the details to this particular customer relationship group, which will again publish the details of the event to the subscribers who subscribe for the newsletter. Now subscribers of the newsletter, when they receive the information about the event, will have to decide whether or not they want to attend the event. They can pay and they can go and attend the event. Now let's just map this to the .NET framework. What do events do? They enable a class or object to notify other classes when something occurs. The class that raises the event is called the publisher. The class that handles the event is called the subscriber. Friends, you keep repeating this. That which raises the event, publisher. That which handles the event, subscriber. Now a publisher will have to determine when the event is raised because that is the one that raises the events. And an event can have multiple subscribers, of course. Subscribers can handle events from multiple publishers. Yes, you are not restricted to go and only handle one event. You can handle events from multiple publishers. Events that have no subscribers will never be raised. Now let us look at a C# example to understand things a bit further. We having covered delegates already comes in handy here because the event model is built on delegates. The first thing that we've done here is we've declared a delegate. The name of the delegate is changed event handler. It's got two parameters, object sender and event args. Now this delegate event handler is that which is used for hooking up the change notifications. Then we have a class called list with changed event which inherits from array list. This is the publisher class. So the publisher class is the one that will have to raise the events. Now we have an event here. And this is syntax for declaring the event. You will have to have public event and then you will have to have the delegate type and then the event name. The delegate for hooking up change notification is change event handler. So you'll have to have public event, changed event handler and then the name of the event which is changed. Thereafter, you can handle the on-changed event. You need to have this changed event inside an on-changed and the on-changed is what you will keep raising every time there is a change. Now I told you that this list with changed event inherits from array list. So when does a change happen to the array list? When you add elements to the array list, when you clear all the elements and then when you set something to a particular value. So in a particular index of the array list, if you set a value, there will be changes. Now in each of those situations, let us raise this onChanged method or let us just call this onChanged method which in turn will raise the event. So when I do an add, please note we are doing an override here. We can override some of the methods. So when you add, you call the onChanged method. Of course you don't have any event args, so you just call it with an empty. And when you clear it, you again call onChanged. When you set a value to a particular index, you call onChanged again. And internally onChanged, what does it do? It raises this event. Now here, we've declared the publisher or we've defined the publisher. The publisher has got the event and the event is of a type of the changed event handler. Now we need to define the subscriber. The subscriber class is called the event listener and the event listener, first what does it do? The event listener hooks up the changed event with the event handler. Now you know that the changed event handler is a delegate, which means it can be treated like a function pointer. So you can actually pass a function to it and that function in turn will be invoked when the event is raised. Now this is the function, list change. And what is the rule? It will have to match in return type as well as the parameter list. The return type is void, the parameter list is object sender and event arg. So it matches. Now this line is very, very important, folks. List.change plus equal to new changed event handler of list change. This is where you're hooking up the event with the list changed event handler. So if you don't do this, there will be no event that's handled. In the detach, you of course remove the association between the event and the event handler. Now what are we doing here? We first need to create an instance of the instance of the publisher. So we create, which is the publisher, a list with changed events. So we created an instance of the publisher. Then we create an instance of the subscriber. When creating the instance of the subscriber, it will also have it has a parameter where it can take in the publisher itself, that is a list, and then assign it to a private variable. And then after assigning it to the private variable, it does a hookup of the event and the event handler. It creates the association. Now what do? I do a list.add. It will have to go and raise this onChange method, which in turn will also go and invoke the change. Now let's just execute this. Okay. Now first it creates list change event. When I go and invoke add, goes to the onChanged, and then it calls the list change because that's the event handler. In clear again, it calls the list changed, and look at this. This is called when the event fires. This is because this is what is there inside the list changed event handler, and we've invoked two methods over here. We've invoked list.add and then we've got a list.clear. So let's just go and take a look at list.add. What have we done in list.add over here? We've called the onChange method. So that's why it came in here. When you call list.add, it came to the onChanged method. And if changed is not equal to null, it says it invokes change this.e. So it raises the event. And when the event is raised, therefore the event has to be handled. And where is the association between the event and the event handler? It's made here. So handling of the event, this gets printed. That's the first thing that happens. Then you have list.clear. What happens in list.clear? Let's go and take a look at the clear method. Again, you go and call the onChange method and the similar thing happens. You call the changed event. Because the changed event and the event handler are hooked up with each other. Once the event is raised, the event is handled, and again you have this is called when the event fires, which is printed. Now how does our dear friend Suresh make use of it? He's got a situation where he has to make use of the events. He has designed Windows and web application, and he's come to understand about the widespread use of the event model, and he also understands how the IDE helps in wiring up the events. You will learn it shortly when you do your web applications. So he understands the event model and then uses it to his advantage. So friends, event model is very, very easy to understand and very, very important to understand. So make sure you understand it well and make ultimate use of it. Thank you.